Good afternoon. My name is McMorris-Williams, and I'll be your presenter. Today we will discuss two important concepts that you will need to understand in order to become an effective manager. After today's presentation, you will be able to describe the 5 functions of management, identify when to use each function, describe the 3 management styles and an appropriate scenario for each, and identify the pros and cons of each style. Before we talk about the 3 management styles, you must first understand the 5 functions of management. Each of these functions will play a role in each of the management styles. The functions will serve as a general guideline as you begin your journey into management. The 5 functions of management are planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. So let's look at each function in greater detail. Many believe planning is the foundation of all management functions. Planning is the process by which managers determine how employees will go about accomplishing organizational goals. It's vital to recognize when planning is an optimal solution. Consider the following scenario. The company has created a new department, and it is your team's responsibility to train the new employees. As the manager, you will determine which of your employees will best fit the role to train the new employees, as well as you will determine how your team will be trained to train the employees. This is an excellent example of when planning is used as a management function. The manager must decide how he or she will distribute resources and organize employees according to a designated plan aimed to accomplish organizational goals. Organizing is used to avoid confusion and ensure the team carries out the responsibility of the plan to accomplish these organizational goals. The manager is responsible for clearly defining the employees' responsibilities as well as their role as it relates to carrying out these plans. As an example of organizing, the company wants to develop a new training plan. So it's your responsibility as the manager to review your employees and decide which employees would best fit this goal. You will then outline a plan in which you will get your trainers trained to carry out the new training plan. You will designate a leader to oversee the project, and it is your responsibility to make sure that the leader understands their role as the leader, as well as what authority that they have over others who are participating in the project. Staffing is simply the recruitment, selection, development, training, and compensation of the managerial personnel. Recruiting and hiring for a new position or developing your current staff is a great example of staffing. Leading is influencing employees to achieve organization's goals. Effective leading requires the manager to motivate, communicate effectively, and effectively use their power. Leading involves both goal setting and manager actions. For instance, goals are set annually for the team. Throughout the year, it's your responsibility as the manager to evaluate where your employees are as far as achieving these goals. You will then reward the employees who are successfully making their goals, and then come up with a corrective action plan for employees who are not quite meeting their target. It's your responsibility as a manager to act and perform the way you want your employees to act and perform as it relates to leading. The last function we're going to discuss is controlling. Controlling is defined as a set of steps the manager uses to determine whether organizational goals have been met. At the end of the quarter, you compare your department's productivity to the productivity of the company. Based on your findings, you will reward high performers and again, set up corrective action plans for low performers. This is one way controlling is used as a function of management. Now that we have an understanding of the 5 functions of management, we're going to move on and talk about the 3 management styles. They're often referred to as the 3 Ds: directing, delegating, and discussing. The directing management style consists of one-way communication, meaning the manager talks and the employee listens. The manager sets short-term goals and makes decisions on how the goals will be reached. Feedback is given as detailed instructions on how the task will be completed, and the employees are rewarded for completing these tasks. Your boss has given you 10 days to develop a presentation to present to the board in order to get new investors to invest in the company. In this situation, because the time is a short time and your instructions have been clearly given, directing is an appropriate form of management. Delegating uses either one-way or two-way communication. Employees are responsible for making decisions on how they will accomplish goals within an allotted time. The employee is responsible for giving the manager feedback, and the manager provides the employee with no feedback. Rewards and recognition are given to those who work well independently and have the ability to make decisions to accomplish goals. Consider the following scenario. An employee has been with your company for 15 years. Your department has been tasked with taking inventory of all supplies before the annual audit. You assign this task to the employee with no direct instruction except for when the task is due. Delegation is appropriate in this scenario because the employee has been with the company for an extended period of time. Typically, this means the employee is knowledgeable about company operations, and it also gives the experienced employee a sense of value within the company. This style will also free up the manager to complete other tasks as it relates to the audit. Two-way communication is used in the discussion management style. The manager listens and talks as well as the employee. Goals and decisions are made together. Managers give feedback, and the employees evaluate their behavior based on the manager's feedback. Employees are rewarded or recognized based on their contributions to the discussions. The company has asked each department to increase their productivity by 10%. You gather your employees in a meeting, and together you discuss how your department will meet this goal. The discussion style is appropriate in this situation because the employees are able to give their input and they feel like they are valued, which makes them more apt to completing the task of increasing productivity. Finally, we're going to look at the pros and cons of each management style. You must remember, however, that as situations change, so must your management style. Directing. Pros, it can be used in a time crunch. It's good for short-term motivation, and it's ideal to use when new employees are coming on staff. Cons, it cannot be used long term. Adults do not like to be told what to do all of the time. Employees will only complete the task as directed and will not have the motivation to go above and beyond. The employees will also have no desire to think for themselves. Delegating. Pros, the manager can focus on others' tasks. It fosters a sense of staff development, and the manager has a work-life balance. Also, experienced employees feel valued. The cons, mistakes can be made. You as the manager must monitor the progress of the employee. The employee must be trustworthy, and mishandling of the task can affect both the company and department's reputation. Discussion. The pros, employees are encouraged to think for themselves. Communication is two-way. The manager can determine the employee's level of understanding by the way they discuss the topics. And the employees are willing to go above and beyond because they feel a higher value towards the team. The cons, it's not useful in an emergent situation, and it takes a lot of time to set aside to discuss each issue with the employees. If you are interested in more information on the concepts that I discussed today, I have provided you with my resources that I used to prepare for my presentation. And I want to thank you all for coming. Have a great day.